You know that feeling where you walk into a room and within 2 seconds you already know who's upset, who's faking a smile, and how long it'll be before someone snaps? You didn't learn that in school. You learned it in your childhood home, where staying safe meant staying alert. Maybe you were the kid quietly doing the dishes while your parents fought in the next room, hoping that if everything looked clean and calm, maybe they'd calm down too. Maybe you were the one comforting your mom after she cried, even though you were the child and she was the adult. Maybe you skipped sleepovers because you didn't want to leave your little brother alone with whatever mood was waiting at home. Adults probably told you how mature you were, how responsible, how you're like a little adult. And you took that as a compliment because it was the only kind of praise you ever really got. But here's the truth nobody said out loud. That wasn't a compliment. That was a warning sign. There's a name for this in psychology. It's called parentification. And once you hear what it actually means, a lot of things about your adult life are going to start making a lot more sense. Normally, a child is supposed to be the one who depends on the parent. The parent provides safety, structure, and emotional support. And the kid gets to focus on being a kid, messy, silly, sometimes annoying, always loved anyway. But in your house, that arrangement got flipped. You became the one providing safety. You became the one managing everyone's emotions. You grew up fast, not because you wanted to, but because somebody had to. There are two types of parentification, and the difference matters a lot. The first is instrumental parentification. That's the practical stuff. Cooking dinner, doing laundry, getting your siblings to school, paying bills before you could even drive. It's a lot of responsibility too soon, but if your parents at least noticed and appreciated what you were doing, the damage tends to be less deep. The second type is the one that really messes with your head. Emotional parentification. This is when you became the emotional support system for your own parent. Your mom told you things about your dad that no kid should ever hear. Your dad cried in front of you, and you had to be the one to comfort him. You became the mediator, the therapist, the one who had to manage the grown-up's feelings at age 8, 9, 10. And here's the part that really sticks. When a child has to take care of a parent's emotions, the message that gets burned into their brain is simple. My feelings come second. Their feelings come first. I matter when I'm useful. That's not maturity. That's a child losing their childhood one quiet moment at a time. Now, let's talk about what this actually did to your brain, because this is where a lot of you are going to feel called out. For a kid growing up in a safe home, their nervous system spends most of its time relaxed. Calm is the default. But for you, your brain learned a different baseline. You were constantly scanning, listening for footsteps, watching body language, reading the tone of a single, "Hey, can you come here for a second?" Your amygdala, which is basically your brain's built-in alarm system, got stuck in the on position. Not because something was always wrong, but because something could be. And here's the part that turns into a paradox you might be living with right now. Some of you grew up so used to chaos that calm actually feels uncomfortable. Quiet feels suspicious. If everything is fine for too long, your brain starts looking for a problem, because in the past, quiet was usually the calm before something blew up. So your body creates stress just to feel normal again. You feel more in control when you're a little anxious than when you're actually relaxed. But, and this is something the last video didn't really cover, not everyone reacts to that childhood chaos the same way. Some of you went the opposite direction. Instead of getting addicted to chaos, you became completely allergic to it. You avoid conflict at all costs. You leave a room the second voices get raised. You'd rather disappear than be near tension, because tension used to mean something terrible was coming. Both of these are the same wound. One just learned to brace for the storm, and the other learned to run from it. Either way, here's something a lot of you already know deep down. You feel guilty when you rest, like actual physical guilt. Sitting still feels wrong. Watching TV without earning, it first feels lazy, even when you're completely exhausted. That guilt isn't random. It's the leftover alarm system telling you that rest is dangerous, because rest means you're not watching, and not watching used to mean something bad could sneak up on you. Now, let's talk about something that probably sounds way too familiar. I'd rather just do it myself. You know the type carrying every grocery bag up the stairs in one trip even though your arm is shaking. because asking for help feels worse than the pain. This is called hyper-independence, and I know it sounds like a strength. People even admire it, but underneath, it's a scar. Think back. What happened the times you did ask for help as a kid? Maybe nobody had the time. Maybe you got a sigh, or a, why can't you just figure it out yourself? So your brain made a rule. Asking for help means disappointing someone or being a burden. And to protect yourself from that feeling ever again, you built a version of yourself that never needs anything from anyone. Here's the part that hits hardest for a lot of you, based on what people kept saying. How am I supposed to ask for help when nobody ever offers it? That's such a real question, and it deserves a real answer. The truth is, most people genuinely don't know you need help because you've spent your whole life making sure they never could tell. You're so good at hiding it that the people around you think you're fine, even thriving. So the first step isn't waiting for someone to ask. It's learning to say it out loud, even when it feels terrifying, even when no one prompted you. Something as simple as texting a friend, "Hey, I'm having a rough week. Can we talk?" Without waiting for them to notice first. That's not weakness. That's you rewriting the rule your brain made when you were 7. And this hyper-independence doesn't stay in childhood, it follows you straight into your relationships. You take care of your partner, but you don't let them take care of you. You become the strong one, the one who doesn't need anything, and then quietly resent the people who love you for not seeing how much you're carrying. But how could they see it? You never let them in. You locked that door so well, even you forgot there was a key. Now, here's something else that probably explains a lot. Why having fun feels so hard for you. There's a concept in psychology called flow, that feeling when you're so into something that you completely lose track of time, like a kid building a sandcastle or someone lost in painting. For people who grew up too fast, flow feels almost impossible to reach. Why? Because your brain doesn't fully relax. Ever. Even on vacation, part of you is checking if everything's okay, making sure nothing's forgotten, managing the moment instead of just being in it. You're not playing. You're supervising your own life. That little kid inside you, the one who used to be curious, silly, and free, didn't disappear. They just got frozen at the exact age you had to grow up. And they're still in there, kind of scared, kind of lonely, waiting for someone to tell them it's safe to come out. Which brings us to one of the most painful patterns of all, becoming the therapist friend. You're the one everyone calls when they're falling apart. You give amazing advice. You listen for hours. You somehow always know exactly what someone needs to hear. But when it's you who's struggling, you go quiet. You hide in the bathroom and turn on the water so no one hears you cry. You can hold space for everyone else's pain except your own. Why? Because being needed has always felt safer than being known. If you're useful, you're valuable. If you're just a person with messy feelings and bad days, you're not sure anyone would stick around for that. So you keep showing up for everyone else, secretly hoping that if you save enough people, someone might eventually turn around and save you too. So what do you actually do with all of this? First, let yourself grieve. Not in a dramatic way, just quietly acknowledging that the kid you used to be deserved more. They deserve to be messy, to mess up, to not have all the answers, and still be loved anyway. That sadness is allowed. You don't have to be grateful for growing up strong. Second, practice being someone who receives, not just gives. Next time you're struggling, try saying it before anyone asks. Try saying, "Actually, that would really help," instead of, "No, I'm fine." It'll feel awkward at first. That's okay. Awkward means you're doing something new. And third, give yourself 15 minutes a day to do absolutely nothing useful. Lay on the floor. Doodle. Stare at the ceiling. When the guilt shows up, and it will, just notice it and breathe through it. You're teaching your nervous system something it never learned, that the world doesn't fall apart when you stop holding it up. If you grew up too fast, that kid inside you did an incredible job for a long, long time. They're tired now. And the adult version of you, the one watching this right now, gets to be the one who finally says, "It's okay. You can rest now. I've got it from here."